So I asked a journalist today, how was the Manchester United press conference? Their reply was, it was very quiet. The media banned, or certain sections of the media banned from the press conference today. Ten Hag has been talking ahead of the Chelsea game. We're going to look ahead to the game. We're going to pick our team. We're going to see where the dangers are. We're going to talk about how Ten Hag rallies his troops. He was coming out fighting in his press conference. We'll go through them quotes from the press conference and everything that Ten Hag has said and go into detail on them as well. Who do you want in that Manchester United side? Who is going to be able to overturn Chelsea? Who is the player for you that should replace the player that isn't on that pitch? The one that is going to be dropped from Newcastle, because the way Ten Hag was talking, you ain't getting many changes. Now that, for me, is a concern already. This is FUTV, Forever United. Welcome to the show, everyone. Get your comments in on everything I talk about. As we go through the show, I want your opinions on the team. I want your opinions on Ten Hag and what he was saying in the press conference today. Well, first of all, we need to talk about what was that press conference and who wasn't at that press conference, because that is what the talking point and what everyone is getting into right now. I have spoke to one of the people that was banned from the press conference today. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to name the journalist who I spoke to who was in the press conference today. But not a happy bunch. Let's just say that. Let's just say that Manchester United have pissed off some of the media. You only have to look at what Samuel Luckhurst again. I know I've been quoting him quite a lot in my recent videos, but he's come out and said he's been banned from Manchester United by a certain someone, head of comms at Manchester United, for talking about unrest in the changing room. Is that right, first of all? Do you feel like the media are trying to drive that negative vibe into the fan base? Do you feel like it's right United have took this stance? First of all, I want to get your comments in on that, because that is important today. All they see they're doing, the journalist, is their job. All they see is they're doing reporting, they're getting stories, they're speaking to people in and around, sources and everything like that. We talked about this morning, about the leaks coming out of the club, but when people tell them things, it's their job to report it. Manchester United know the script with what goes on. They are a massive club and they're underperforming. If they want to ban people from the press conferences, they're quite within their right to do that. They need to set a standard in their eyes. But is that right? That's what I want to know. I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm going, well, they're only doing the job. This has been going on for a long time. So why now have Manchester United banned sections of the media from a press conference on the eve of a very, very important game? Why are we not letting certain people into Carrington, into this press conference now? There has been a lot worse talked about Manchester United in the media and in the press by certain journalists. I'm pretty confident that they wouldn't have checked with the club on what they thought and got their opinion on it. Contextualise is the word Manchester United were using. They want the media to come to them with their stories before they publish them and say yes or no and give their opinion on them. They are saying that they have not stopped these journalists coming into Manchester United's press conference today because of the story, or saying that the stories are false or anything like that. They're just saying they want to hear the story first and, like I said, add context to it and give their opinion on it and say whether it's right or wrong before it actually goes out. Always, as fans, we look at it and we go, the proof is in the pudding, and what happens on the pitch is really manufactured from what happens on the training ground. So everyone right now is thinking there must be something wrong because we're performing absolutely diabolically on the pitch. So you look at it from a fan side, you go, yeah, I can see why United have done it. But from the media side, it's like, why have you done it now? Does that mean that there is something going on at Manchester United? Have United, in effect, made it worse by doing what they've done today? They want to set the precedent. Is this Ten Hag who's done this? I would say probably yes, it's Ten Hag and his say, and he's made the comms people at Manchester United send out this message to certain sections of the media for stories that they've put out in the post, in the papers and online on social media. I just want to get into the chat straight away on this one because I want to get the vibe of like how you feel about it being this way in terms of the media being banned. Do you feel it's right? Do you feel they are stirmongering and making it worse than what it is? Let me just get into it. I'm glad they got banned. Them journalists love our downfall. we talk about it just as much as them and we read it, Kieran. So, yeah, I do understand what you're saying. They are all too willing to put down Manchester United and talk about it and sensationalise maybe a little bit. But, yeah, it happens all the time. So my concern ultimately is now. Like, why now? Replace Maguire, Dalot, McTominay, Rashford, Martial for Varane, Reguilon, Amrabat, Anthony and Højlund. Says SRC. We'll get into that team bit in a bit. Rashford, Martial and Sancho and Varane out ASAP, says Jeanette. Christopher Hooper, good evening everyone. Rashford out, get out now. Wow, big one there. Sky Sports got banned too. Yes, they did. Kevin from Sky Sports from talking about the 50% split that I was talking about on my earlier video today. By the way, thanks everyone for tuning into that one. Do go and give that a like. I did a bit of research into that and your comments back from how I dissected it, how I built up the argument for where I got to in that video. Thank you very much for all of your comments on that. That does mean a lot because there is a lot of work that goes into doing stuff like this in the channel and trying to put your opinion across. It is my opinion, but what is important is your opinion of mine and your reaction to it, because this is your channel as well as mine, and I want to know what you feel because that's what builds the videos and the content ultimately. So thank you very much for tuning in. If you haven't, just go and have a quick look at that. That's the next video down on the channel. Let's get into more. Stephanie's in the house. Hello, Stephanie. Hope you're well. UK Strange also in the house. Another mod. The media are scum. They know exactly what they are doing. United not letting people have a voice unless they have a say in it is so wrong, says Kaz. Everyone needs a right to reply, Adam. Well, they do, yeah. Maybe they could have replied in the press conference direct to their faces rather than exiling them. Maybe. I feel like Ten Hag. You know what? It is a double-edged sword in a way, isn't it? Because it shouldn't be Ten Hag answering these questions. It's the club. Ultimately, the manager is the only one that talks to the media, and he has to answer these awkward questions. So maybe it isn't fair on him. Maybe that he's just had enough of it. Maybe he's had enough about answering questions not related to football and possibly the Chelsea game. He probably knew what was coming. So he's just gone, nah, sorry, see you later, cut off, there you go. You can sit this one out. Whether or not they'll be back, I'm sure they'll be back. They can't ban them for a season. Pretty certain of that. But yeah, they will be back. But maybe there will be a meeting beforehand or something like that organised where United can set out their own rules. But, like I said, this has been going on for years and years and years. It seems strange that it's happening now. Why are United trying to change the way that everything has always been in the media world? I'm delighted to see United grow a pair and ban these journalists, or ban these journalists, probably you meant to say there. JMD85. This is what would have happened under Sir Alex times. Yes, I think it would, because remember, Sir Alex, like Daz Salford says there above, he banned the BBC and he wouldn't talk to the BBC. So yeah, there is an element of this that's actually United having a backbone and saying we're not standing for the bull and we don't believe these stories, they are false. We'll soon see if they're false or not by how the players react tomorrow night. It's going to be really interesting. Journalists should ask for a comment from the club, like all professional journalists do. This is it, isn't it? Again, I understand what Robert's saying there, and that would be the normal protocol. That would be the normal protocol, but there is a lot of kick-off amongst the media and journalists that were not at Carrington today, and they see it completely differently. So something has definitely happened behind the scenes for this to come out. So you kind of think there's no smoke without fire. We definitely are seeing a change in tack from United, and I think it's Erik Ten Hag that is ultimately the one that's trying to change the law of the land when it comes to the media and the journalists and press conferences and so on and so forth. I feel like it's him driving all of this. He just wants to talk football. So then the questions come about Marcus Rashford and things like that within the press conference. We'll get on to what was actually said in the press conference next. Thanks, Adam, for the mention. But Rashford out, errors, Eric in, and everyone know how I feel about errors, Eric's tactics. Yeah, I understand what you're saying there, Christopher, mate. Paul Greaves, Erik Ten Hag don't help himself when he says that we have been playing good football recently. Erik Ten Hag in, but at the moment, He has got to be realistic. I want balanced journalism. I wanted to hear both sides. I think when we got United's side and Ten Hag's side regarding banning the media, they just wanted to say what they had, and they wanted to give their opinion on it first. So maybe everyone, like you're saying in the chat there, is right. They should have approached Manchester United first. That is the norm to do. We'll probably find out more as things go on. And they've had the wrist slapped, some of the media. It is big news because these are big journalists. This is ESPN. This is Sky, MEN. Do you know what I mean? It's the Daily Mirror as well. Sorry, there's quite a lot. There's quite some big, substantial publications and media outlets there that have been turned away by United today. So big move from the football club. Very big move. Maybe he could have sat there and just answered the questions, ultimately. But yeah, he could have thrown it back and made a fool of them in front of everyone. That's probably what I would have done. But this is the way the club is going, and we have to stand by him. So yeah, that's how that's gone. But when it comes to the actual questions, the obvious ones then are coming out, and it's the same old answers. The worrying one that I heard from Ten Hag in that press conference was when asked if it would be the same players that took to the pitch against Newcastle, he said pretty much yes. Pretty much yes. Oh, man. Again, he looks like he's being strong in one side, in banning certain sections of the media for talking crap, or in his eyes crap that's not true. And then it deflects away from the major issue, which is him picking the same team which is failing and everyone can see is a big problem and not working for him. So I say, yeah, Ten Hag, I'm with you on certain aspects, but again, you cannot answer a question that way. Yes, pretty much. We've got plenty of players there. You could change 2/3 of that team, no problem, with full international players. So why are we not changing it after it failed so much? The excuse that he gave with the fatigue factor is complete and utter nonsense. I defended him before, but I'm not defending fatigue as an excuse for Newcastle. He said it wasn't good enough, but you still left it there, and you left that bad taste in our mouths, Eric, by saying that we were fatigued. Did Newcastle not have the same amount of games as Manchester United? Were they not travelling in Europe as well? You can use the one-day thing, but we changed our team. We had fresher players on that pitch. We changed the starting lineup from our European game in the week. Newcastle haven't got anyone, and they ran. So there's no excuse there. It sort of leads into the same debate that we had earlier on about the players moaning about doing too much running. We don't know why we're running in training. Is this all going down the same path again? Ten Hag overworking the players using that as an excuse then to say we don't know what's going on. This is what's been leaked. This is what's been leaked out into the media and where the unrest is in with the club, because Ten Hag has basically used the same excuse as what the players have about how he is with them. So he's kind of kicked himself in the foot a little bit here today for me, Eric Ten Hag, by what he's doing. I understand the banning of the media and stuff like that, fair enough, but then he answers all the questions and it's like, I don't get it. I mean, I've got some of the questions up here now from what was going on in the press conference today, and I said it's not good reading. If you're a Manchester United fan, you look at it and you go, there is problems there. Why are you ignoring them? Why are you not answering them honestly? It's like Eric Ten Hag claims there are no issues at Manchester United despite the 10th defeat of the season at Newcastle. It's short, snappy, and to the point. That basically tells you everything you need to know about this season so far. Ten Hag is a little bit in denial about what's going on. The players are not helping him. We said this before on the show. And I think Ten Hag is now struggling in these press conferences. I personally think he really is struggling to handle them and the pressure of the questions that are coming. Because for him to take away certain outlets from that press conference, and I know who they are, and they would always ask the awkward questions. The people that are out and we all know the names now, they would ask awkward questions. I've been in there with them, and I know they're just trying to get down to what the problem is at Manchester United. Because if you're a reporter, you're reporting on United at the moment, they are crap, and you need to know why. So you want to ask questions as to why you think that might have happened. I think he's taken that away today, so other people have come in with the same questions. Things like what happened today with the media being banned gives a sense of disorder around the club. Is that fair? And Ten Hag is answering that question. All they wanted to do was have their say, balance it, and add context to what has been reported, because they're saying that it's false. So going down into more of the player stuff and what Ten Hag was asked. Sorry, just bear with me 1 second. And Erik Ten Hag has spoken. This was one thing that came from the press conference. Ten Hag has spoken to the players regarding the media leaks. And this is why Ten Hag has then come out today, apparently, and banned the media, because they're saying that there is no problem at all. And Ten Hag is saying the players are behind him, they're behind his tactics, behind his methods in training, 100%. So we just have to take that as gospel, as United fans, and watch them on the pitch, not giving a damn and just running down blind alleys, not tracking back, looking all over the place, not backing up certain phases of play with each other. Need I go on? Getting into more of what he said. Most of the comments coming out from the journalist, though, he came out fighting. He came out fighting about how it was false and what was going on at the football club, the leaks, the unrest within the squad. Everyone is behind him. I just don't believe it. Because, like we said, you can say everything's happy on the training ground. Honestly, I don't really care how happy you are on the training ground. We talked before about what Nemanja Matic was saying about Jadon Sancho and this whole aura around Manchester United's training, how players were turning up late, how it wasn't disciplined, how it wasn't really a big deal to him. Laughing off about £75,000 worth of fines, which the players were going to use for a party. Why not donate it to the bleeding club? Oh no, don't do that. Donate it to the foundation. Never mind a party. I didn't bring this up before, but what Nemanja Matic said in terms of Sancho, Pogba, players turning up late, he made a list on the wall about them players, and it was mainly the likes of Pogba, Sancho, 75 grand's worth of fines for turning up late to training Manchester United accumulated in one season. He said he was then going to use that money to have a party in London. Yeah, I know. Honest Tiger is in with a gifted membership. Cheers for that, mate. Over 100 likes on the video already, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is your look ahead to the Chelsea game. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the team in a minute and who we think can make a difference. Please, someone make a difference and bring us some joy watching United. Oh, man. Yes. Yeah, give the video a like, subscribe if you're tuning for the first time, and we'll move on from the press conference that wasn't for some people. And yeah, Ten Hag sort of shooting himself in the foot with what he's saying. Quick one there just to finish on that. I listen always to my players. I give them always opportunities to tell if the players have a different opinion. Of course, I will listen. Maybe one or two have told me, but it is about in general. The majority want to play like this productive, proactive, dynamic, brave. Dynamic, brave is what they want. No issues. That was that language barrier again there. Sorry, I was just reading it out word for word. Dynamic, brave. Oh, that's a lie, innit? Come on, Eric. You've got to do better. We're backing you with these players. Just start being a little bit honest. That's all I would say. And I'm going to leave it there in terms of what Ten Hag said in his press conference. We need to look ahead to the actual team and who we actually think is going to be good enough to get us a win, because we need a win against Chelsea. Were United right in their actions today with the media? The poll is up in the chat as well now. The majority of you, good 74%, are saying yes on that one. So it's good to see that you're back in the club and they have done something right. Graham in the house. Hello, Graham. Hope you're well. Hope you're recovering from that dog bite. I've seen the pictures. Sorry about that, my man. Not nice. I'm sure you'll tell me more tomorrow at the game. Hi, Adam. I think Erik Ten Hag is deluded. He thinks we played well. I was not for sacking him, but if Varane is on the bench and Rashford and Scott starts in, then I'm done with him. The worrying thing is, Thomas, is I think that's going to happen because Ten Hag's big thing is allowing the players to prove themselves. He keeps on talking about Marcus Rashford will come good. He keeps on talking about how important Scott McTominay is and players taking chances. They are going to play. They are going to play. And it is a major, major concern because, yes, what might happen tomorrow is we may get a reaction in the Chelsea game and the players may play well and then it'll come out and it'll be all nice and everyone's talking, wow, what a reaction. Why do we keep needing reaction games is my issue. We should be settled. We should know what we're doing. There should be a plan going forward. And the players should be playing like they are going to play tomorrow if there is going to be this big reaction and big performance. Every single week, you're playing for Manchester United. We shouldn't need to have a fall to play good the next game. This is what it is with the 2 steps forward and 3 back. It's like the 2 steps and everyone's bigging us up. I get carried away with it sometimes. I just like watching my team win. But we then have to suffer what the inevitable is, and that is United falling off again. So, yeah, I look at it and I go, that's fair enough. Could talk up a big game against Chelsea and a great result, but let's not forget, you've got Villa coming up, you've got Bayern coming up, you've got Liverpool coming up, West Ham away coming up. If you fall in them games, this game is forgotten about, and we go back to the drawing board again. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Manchester United stuck in mid-table, going absolutely nowhere. And that's the problem with it. So, ultimately, yeah. Play them players, Eric. And yeah, they may do good tomorrow, and we'll be talking positive about it. But realistically, there's no United fan getting carried away with anything that comes tomorrow. So, yeah, we'll just take the win and move forward and hope that they can pick up some consistency. Because it feels to me like this United team have a good few results and then sit on it and go, we've done well for a few weeks. The foot comes off the gas and blang, gone. The whole excuse from what came out of Erik Ten Hag about the fatigue factor. I mean, Martial, Rashford, I'm sick of going on about him, but I talked about him in detail in the last video this morning, but for then Ten Hag to come out after I'd backed him today, and I know he's not listening, I'm not talking like he should listen to me or anything like that, but the fans want to help Ten Hag, they want to back him, and they are looking down the player route. He's just basically come out and using the excuse of fatigue for why we were so bad against Newcastle. Marcus Rashford had a week off. Martial hasn't played a full 90 minutes in either of them games. They were our worst 2 players. Both mid to late 20s, prime of their career, should be as fit as a fiddle. The most experienced players in United shirts in that team, and they were your 2 players that were failing. Them alongside Scott McTominay. Failing. It wasn't fatigue at all. You had players that could have played in place of Martial and Rashford. To use a fatigue excuse for Marcus Rashford is an absolute piss take, Eric. I'm sorry. I can't defend that. And I said I'll criticise him when he deserves criticising. These press conferences are where I'm losing it with Ten Hag and the way he talks. That's the problem I've got with him. I'm fully behind him in terms of the players and the players' attitude and how they've been. It's them that are at fault, trying to throw another manager under a bus. But he is publicly backing them. It's craziness. Let's get into some of your comments again. Graham, I think your programme contextualising delusionalment nailed the parameters. Graham in the dictionary there. I like it. Testing out my vocab there, my friend. The pressure is building, and I don't think it ends well for Ten Hag. And I back him, but he's not convincing me he can turn things around fast, says UK Strange. I don't know, Adam. I don't see Man U winning from Chelsea. No. General sort of opinion is that Chelsea will win tomorrow. I was doing it before on top of the league, and yeah, I feel like everyone is expecting a big fall for Manchester United tomorrow. It's going to go one of two ways. The home crowd can get behind a fast start and a Manchester United team that is looking to right the wrongs that was Newcastle. Let's not forget, Ten Hag has talked about fatigue. And he said in that press conference, it's going to be pretty much the same team. Hello? Can anyone else see the issue with that statement? Maybe one of, you said they were fatigued, but you're going to play the same team. They played 3 days ago. It's the same scenario as last week. Why are we not freshening it up, Eric? I mean, it's not rocket science, is it? So now he can't use that excuse again. He can't, because he's got an opportunity to rectify it. So ultimately, yeah, we are where we are, and Manchester United are going to use the fatigue issue again, tiredness, whatever it is, if we get a bad result against Chelsea. It's pathetic in my opinion. I don't think we should be using it at all. I don't think it's right, and I think it's poor from a club like Manchester United. This is a team which is supposed to be playing and competing on all fronts. So why the hell are we using fatigue as an excuse when we're heading into the second third of the season? We're not even into the nitty-gritty of it yet. Change it up if we're tired, Eric. You've got a big squad. Do you know what I mean? Oh, for him to say that just worries me. It really worries me that we're going to see the same players that basically threw the fans under the bus that travelled up there to Newcastle at weekend. It's an absolute joke if he does. And he's going to take the criticism that comes his way. A manager always backs his players. The problem with these players is the video that I did this morning. So you need to go and watch that video, because that explains where there are big, big problems at Manchester United. Really big problems, in fact. But yeah, moving forward, who are we picking? What is our team? Honestly, I've said this so many times. We do it anyway because it's a preview and we're going to talk about the team going forward. So who do you guys want? In goal, are we going on Anna? I think we are. Let's just get the comments in right now. Let's go. The back four and the goalkeeper. I'm making wholesale changes, honestly. I want to see Luke Shaw back at left back. I want to see Maguire at centre back alongside Varane. And Wan-Bissaka at right back. That's what I want to see. I think Dalot is probably having a real bad patch of form at the moment. And Shaw, I think, was struggling at centre back. He's only just come back and he's playing at centre back. I know I've said I would prefer Luke Shaw to play at centre back alongside Varane. I'm sort of changing my mind on this now. Maybe Luke Shaw needs to have a few more games under his belt before he does anything like that. I probably got that one wrong, and I'll hold my hands up and say that. I feel like Luke Shaw just needs to be back out on the left. We were talking about using that as an excuse. The symmetry that Ten Hag and the stability that he talked about Luke Shaw coming back, and how it affects Marcus Rashford. And then first opportunity he gets, he leaves two centre-backs out and puts Luke Shaw at centre-back instead of left-back. So, yeah, I can see I can see why people are actually having issues with it, but I'm playing Luke Shaw left, Maguire and Varane in the middle, and Wan-Bissaka out on the right-hand side. Jim Max says, really want Amrabat and Mainu. Daz is agreeing with me. NJ0 says, Shaw, Maguire, Lindelof, Dalot. No, I'm not having Lindelof in this team. I want Varane back. I don't want Dalot in either. I want Wan-Bissaka there as well, because we're going to need some decent defenders to handle Sterling, and Wan-Bissaka's got form for that. I think we can take away and nullify one of their main players in that. So, if with any sense, Wan-Bissaka is playing in this game because we need him. Darren B66, Shaw, Lindelof, Maguire, and Wan-Bissaka. No, Varane, Mainu, Bruno in midfield with Amrabat. That's where I would go. I would go Kobe Mainu, Bruno Fernandes, and Amrabat. We need to change that midfield up. And Danny Tay there, definitely with my front three of Garnacho, Højlund and Palestra. If you want workers and you want energy, that is your front line. And Palestra, there's opinions on him that he's not ready, that he isn't that player, he hasn't got enough. But what you need right now are players that are going to work. You could argue Anthony, because Anthony is a good worker. He does. Rashford should be nowhere near this team. And Ten Hag can make a massive, he can back up what he's done today in that press conference by dropping Martial and Rashford to the bench and telling them to sit there. Wear your snoods, warm yourself up, put your extra thick gloves on, your big coat, and sit there and watch younger players who want to play for United in your position, and then let's see how you feel. Because this is a big game and you're not in it because of how you've acted and how you have performed on the pitch. That's how bad it is. Some people would say, Hannibal, does Hannibal come in? The energy of Hannibal? What does McTominay offer Adam, says Rajat? Honestly, not a lot at the moment. He took his goal well against Galatasaray, but past that, I've not seen much else from him at all. I think he's been lagging. And if anyone looks tired in games, it's Scott McTominay in that midfield role. He really does look dead on his feet. Again, we had the scenario where he come off the bench in Bayern and was tracking back leisurely, just strolling back with players running past him. We did the same with Galatasaray. Players sprinting past him, willy-nilly. So, no, I'm not going McTominay in this team at all. I think Ten Hag can make a massive statement by dropping these players. And ultimately, he doesn't have to say anything in a press conference. And everything in this press conference gets wiped out if he makes these big changes in this game. So, yeah, I look at it and I go, if he drops McTominay, Martial, Rashford, players like this, then he's making that statement and he's going, okay, now complain. Basically, now complain about that. He's giving everyone a fair crack at a whip. The problem you've got is, though, the statement needs to come and be backed up by these players getting a good run of games. And that is where the important bit is. It's all right playing them for one and they do well, but you cannot then start bringing other players back in if we actually get a result in this game. I think that's where Ten Hag has got a big problem. And that pressure of having to play certain players is really starting to grind him down, I feel, and it will be why he gets the sack from Manchester United, because if we lose to Chelsea, we've got Bournemouth next, and that's no pushover. They're in good form at the moment, Bournemouth. And then we've got Bayern Munich, and then it's Liverpool, and then it's West Ham, then it's Aston Villa, and then we're into the FA Cup. And will Ten Hag be here by the time that January transfer window opens? Because if these results go anywhere near the way that this last week's gone, I don't think he's going to be in a job. And it'll be a big statement if Ten Hag is still there, if results don't go our way over the next few weeks. It is going to be one hell of a month for Ten Hag in this hot seat, and it's going to be difficult for him. It really is. He's going to have to make some ballsy calls, I feel, just to survive. He can get the fans on board straight away tomorrow by changing that team up. That's what he needs to do. He needs to get that team on point, in place, and ready. And the fans will get behind him. But if he plays the same team again, and they start getting the same sort of results, this crowd, this Old Trafford crowd, will turn instantly on these players. Ten Hag has got the power to take that away, because we all want to see players given a chance at Manchester United. We want to see what Manu can do in the Premier League again, in a big game like Chelsea, against two of the so-called best young midfielders in Europe at the moment, in Caicedo and Enzo. We want to see how he applies his trade against players like this. This is important development for him. Amrabat, I think, comes in for his experience in this sort of game with them sort of players. You can say Scott McTominay is more experienced than him, but for me, I think Scott McTominay's had his chance now. I do. I think he's gone. I think he needs to go back on the bench where he probably belongs as a squad player. Harsh, yes. Realistic, also yes. And I think fair. I think he knows his role at the club. I think he's lucky to be in that team, let's be honest. He hasn't got the capabilities. He does show a bit of effort. He does give us a different dimension. He comes in with important goals, and he has played his role. But it has mainly been from the bench as an impact sub. He isn't a starter week in, week out. It is a big problem for Erik Ten Hag in handling this situation now. But with everything the way it is off the pitch and how everything is right now at Manchester United, he's got an opportunity really tomorrow just to make a big statement and like a clean slate. It's like, well, you have just ultimately failed. He doesn't have to play any of them players Because all he has to say to him is, oh, look what you did against Newcastle. Look at the stats. Look how much you ran compared to Newcastle. Look how much they covered. Look at the ground they covered. Look how many passes they completed. Look at where the territory was in that game. You failed in every single department. So he has got the perfect opportunity to make wholesale changes. If he picks a losing side, then he deserves every single bit of criticism coming his way. And he will get it. He will get it. He'll get it off me because I want to see these changes. I do. Here's a question for everyone. I want to know who, if everyone was fit right now and we had that game, you could easily see that game being played. If we had a fully fit squad, that starting line up against Newcastle, you could easily see that team playing anyway, week in, week out with Ten Hag. Who would you pick if everyone was fit? If everyone was available to you, how many changes would you make from that side? For one, you're bringing in, Casemiro? Honestly, I would, right now, in the way that Bruno is playing, and how erratic he is, and everyone knows what I think of Bruno, I would be taking Bruno out of the team as well, because I think he is a player that will learn from something like this. He's mature enough, and I do think he will take the criticism on board and take his seat on the bench and learn from it. These players don't learn by playing week in, week out after bad performances. The only time you will ever learn as a player, in my opinion, is if you get dropped for a poor performance. You're on the bench, and then you get the reaction from the player after that. If they don't react after that, then you got your answer right there. That's it. So for me, I would have had what Casemiro would have been playing. I probably would have played Eriksen in 10 ahead of Bruno. So straight away I'm dropping Scott McTominay. I'm bringing Casemiro in. I'm playing Casemiro, Mainu and Eriksen in midfield. I'm going Pellistri on the right, Haaland up front, Garnacho on the left. I've got Varane and Martinez at the back with Shaw and Wan-Bissaka. Big changes. Big changes. And these players are lucky. And sometimes I feel like they take, when they put the handbrake on when they know they're guaranteed a place. What are you going to do extra if you already know that you're in that team no matter how you play? Not much. Consistency goes out the window and complacency comes in instead. And that's it then. So I look at it, and I said this in the video earlier on today, the big problem you've got right now is, and I earmarked Martial and Rashford for this, was when the player is playing well and when a player is putting effort in, it spreads the positive vibes. So if Rashford was busting a gut and Martial were closing down, they were putting in that extra effort, tracking players back, making tackles, what do you think Garnacho thinks of that? He leaps onto that. He thinks, whoa, yeah. Positivity spreads very, very easily from a player's performance. I think Bruno's trying to do that at the moment, but he's just a bit erratic with it. If one player does it, another player should do it. When you've got two players like Martial and Rashford who think they've got every right to be in that team no matter what, you've got a problem. Because you know what spreads better and quicker than positivity? Negativity. And when one player sees another player not pushing and not making an effort, that is just going to go straight to his head and go, well, why the hell am I doing it then? Why am I busting a gut and wasting my time when them other two, the so-called more experienced forwards in the team, aren't doing anything? So there's your answer for me. Plain and simple. Rasmus Højlund will run all day for you. Fight, hold the ball up, go into tackles. Garnacho will. Anthony or Pellistri, either on the right-hand side for me, will run all day for you. That then moves into Bruno, and you've got a four that will just run all day for you. Just organise it. Stay together. I know that's a discipline on its own and being organised in that press and what you do with it, but ultimately, you're then setting an example for the rest of the team. Then you've got another player in midfield who jump onto that, and it spreads, and everyone at the back, the full-backs, and you're backing it up, and then do you know what else jumps on board with it? The crowd, the atmosphere. And that is the difference right now. You've seen what Newcastle did. One tackle. Another player backing a player up. A closing down. Robust. Giving everything they've got. The crowd is up instantly. And you're playing 10 men straight away. You're playing against 12 men straight away, sorry. That's what United don't have at the moment. They lost that connection with the crowd. The last time we had that, I think it was like last season against Manchester City. Because that's how we was playing. So why have we changed now? Why is it so different? And I think that leads down into why journalists have asked questions and reported certain things that have gone on in the press today, and why they've been banned from the press conference today. It all filters down from what happens on the pitch, and ultimately, if the players are leaking out stuff, which they probably are, the club are covering it up. Erik Ten Hag is taking it in the neck for it, and is the one that's making the calls with these press conferences today. So straight away, he's making enemies within the media. He's the one that's going to fall. He will be the one that everyone is reporting about if Manchester United lose the game tomorrow against Chelsea. Let's just go through a few of your comments before we finish up with the video, everyone. Let's just see. Highland is only a project who's learning on the job. We need a Kane type of signing to be his foil. Well, we're not going to get that T, unfortunately. So in terms of what we've got right now, we have to talk realistically with the crop here, because it's not going to change at all. We're not going to see anything in January either, I don't think. The job is to fact check too, though. Yeah, maybe they have had it. But are Manchester United going to be honest? When a journalist asks them a question regarding unrest, they're not going to say, yeah, there's unrest, are they? Ten Hag has just said they're playing well. He's lied to everyone's faces straight away, so they're going to lie again. There's both sides to this story. I understand both arguments, to be honest, with the media and Manchester United. But if they asked Manchester United, do you really feel like you're going to get an honest answer from United, of all clubs? Ahmad is arguably Sunderland's best player last season. Go and actually watch his performances like most United fans did last season. Are you talking to me or someone else, Danny, there? I did watch them, and I can't wait for him to come back. I don't know if you was asking someone else that question, but I've just read it out anyway. So, yeah, sorry if I'm interrupting a little conversation there in the chat. Anthony Wisdom, Bruno, best position is an 8. He's fantastic for Portugal. Maybe that's because he has better players around him. He runs around like a headless chicken in our midfield. Yeah, Bruno is better for Portugal than he is United. He has got better players, but there is better structure, and they know exactly how they are going to play. Super chat in from Mark, LUFC. Thank you very much, mate. Brilliant stuff. Do come over and follow me on Top of the League. I'm doing the Luton v Arsenal watch along. Be good to get some of you guys in there, get your feet up, watch some football with me and Craig, and enjoy the night, because that's right now for Forever United TV. FUTV is out of here. We are done. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to everyone joining me on the video. Good stuff again. Good day of content all around. Lots going on at United. It's going to be the same tomorrow. Catch me outside the grounds, and obviously the match day vlog is back. Seems like ages since we had a match day at home, but yes, that is us done and dusted here on FUTV, guys. Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much again, contributors and everyone. It's really rolling along nicely. We are less than 300 away now from 30,000. Great stuff, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, as always, and I will catch you on Top of the League for the watch along with Luton Arsenal, hopefully. And then I'll see you on this channel tomorrow night, everyone. Enjoy the football, try to stay positive, and hopefully we can talk positive tomorrow as well. Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.